Welcome to News Hour. I'm Harold Williams. Coming up, Senegalese Women's Association in Sierra Leone presents gifts to newborns of 2021. President Biot pardons former Defense Minister Alfred Palo Conte and 246 other inmates nationwide. And key locations in Freetown have received solar lights. All of these details coming up, but first this corona preventive message.
You see where them people here wear them mask them fine? Well, now so you say for wear your mask. Cover you know send you much all time where you dey near other person.
Please continue to observe corona preventive measures and stay safe. As a way of encouraging pregnant women to be giving birth in hospitals, the Senegalese Women's Association in Sierra Leone has provided gifts to newborn babies of 2021 in different hospitals around Freetown. The initiative is also to attempt to give a helping hand to mothers with their newborn babies. Mohamed Kamara, our intern, reports.
Being charitable to newborn babies and not only adults is an act of kindness, and it is rewarding. It is on that note that Senegalese Women Association in Sierra Leone provided baby clothes, diapers, powders, baby oil, among others, which worth millions of leones to the few newborn babies of 2021. Senegalese Women Association is an organization that is geared towards helping the less privileged in Sierra Leone, especially women and children. The association started this good gesture last year with one hospital, but it has extended its helping hands to other hospitals like King Aman Road Hospital, PCMH, Okupa Hospital, Saola Hospital, and Sitop Street Hospital. President of Senegalese Women Association, Khadija Ali, explained the importance of the initiative.
We formed this association 1 year ago.
We formed this association to empower women and children in Sierra Leone. We decided to start our development projects with children of whom we will be providing scholarships, especially brilliant but less privileged children, and who will later engage in other projects.
We plan to do so many things, but
the birth of babies at the start of the year was described by a father of one of the babies, Cyril Taylor Young, as a blessing from God.
It's a real blessing we God give you for starting the new year.
This is a gift God has blessed us with to start the year. To give birth to children is not easy. So I want to thank the Senegalese Women Association for their kindness.
Thank you.
SLBC News, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
That was Cyril Taylor Young, the father of one of the newborns in the early hours of 1st January 2021. President Julius Maada Bio on New Year's Day pardoned former Defense Minister Alfred Palo Conte and 246 others, including 4 female inmates from correctional facilities nationwide. Before their release, Acting Deputy Director General, Sierra Leone Correctional Service, said the inmates met all the criteria by the committee chaired by the Vice President to review their case files. Ibrahim Samura has details.
It was a moment of joy for these 65 inmates, with smiles on their faces as they walked out of the Male Correctional Center here at Pandemba Road in Freetown as free men. They sang songs of praises to their maker for perhaps the shock they felt upon hearing their names announced. Former Defense Minister and opposition politician Alfred Palo Conte was among the inmates that were pardoned by President Julius Maada Bio as part of the New Year's amnesty, a prerogative guaranteed by the country's constitution. Palo Conte's release came months before he was due to serve out his 16-month jail term for unlawful possession of arms. Over 200 convicted inmates nationwide, including 4 females, were also released after they had met the criteria set up. Before their release, Acting Deputy Director General, Sierra Leone Correctional Service, Ahmed Toure, admonished the inmates to serve as change agents, noting that they should count themselves lucky to be selected by President Bio among thousands of inmates in correctional centers across the country.
Let me just say thanks to the President. Keep on this sort of good work. Make sure you comport yourself, make sure you carry yourself fine, which will be very good for you. Don't come here again. We want to see you on the street. Let's chat together and crack jokes together. It's not easy to keep yourself between the walls of the Freetown Milk Correctional Center as you have been soon to become. Mind if this sort of thing is happening, it's not going to be confined to Freetown Milk Correctional Center. All over correctional institutions nationwide. You go to Kenima, you go to Kailan, you go to Bonth, you go to Batrujon. All these institutions are effectively released today.
A committee was set up by government chaired by Vice President to review their case files, and all the released inmates met the criteria.
For Western Area Urban, we released 79, including 3 female. Western Area Rural, we released 14, all male. Northwest Region, we released 12. Northeast Region, we released 65. Eastern Region, we released 41, all male. Southern Region, we released 36. If you compute that, we have 246 inmates, 24 female inmates. Well, the crimes that we look out for in terms of recommending these inmates to the prerogative of mercy committee are those who commit misdemeanors and are not felonies.
The inmates who were in a cheering mood lauded President Bio for pardoning them and promised to be peaceful and law-abiding citizens. They pleaded to President Bio on behalf of the remaining prisoners to reconstruct the skills training and the health centers that were burnt down during an attempted prison break in April last year.
We ask the president, and we not say president, in anything talking you do am. And we not say they call a token. And as you talk say, where is it? I not say it talks something.
99% of these inmates had served years in prison, convicted with crimes ranging from larceny to robbery and fund-led conversion, among others. Their release now means they will again have to reintegrate themselves in their various societies. Ibrahim Samora, Freetown.
Well, in Kono district, 16 of the inmates were released from the Sefadu Correctional Center. It was also a moment of joy for the 16 inmates who were all men. According to the officer in charge of the Sefadu Correctional Center, Superintendent Alusain Kamara, there were no female inmates because they did not meet the criteria. From Kono district, Dada Kamara sent in this report read again by Ibrahim Samura.
Admonishing the freed inmates, Superintendent Alusain Kamara drew their attention to the laws of Sierra Leone while going out and reminded them of what they have gone through while serving their sentences. He encouraged them to be good citizens and implement what they have learnt in the correctional center. No female was among the 16 inmates released. According to the officer in charge, Superintendent Alusain Kamara, this is because no female inmates met the criteria for recommendation but confirmed that all of them were on trial and remand. The freed inmates thanked President Bio for his kind consideration in accepting their names based on recommendations from the Correctional Center management in Kono District. They promise to be change persons, free from all crimes and ensured to apply what they have been taught at the correctional center in their future endeavors.
In a bid to ensure that the tree planting project becomes a reality, a team from the Environment Ministry, including journalists, has started monitoring the process of seedlings provided to several organizations in the country. The National Tree Planting Project aims to plant 5 million trees in Sierra Leone in the next 4 years. Joseph Stanley has the report. Problems with the rendition of that, and we'll try to bring you that report by Joseph Stanley as News Hour continues. In her contribution to aid humanity, a philanthropist, Genevieve Chinyere, has supported Don Bosco FAMU as an organization seeking to protect and support the rights of vulnerable children with 100 bags of 50 kg rice. As Aminata Fofana reports, the gesture was for the children to be fed regularly during the holidays. The ceremony took place at the Don Bosco Children's Quarters at During Town, Western Area Rural District. Continues. We'll try to bring you those stories. We have a technical hitch. Residents in Pujon and the mainland of both districts have called on contractors for the district's township electrification project to work closely with communities, including youth groups, for a successful implementation of the project in 12 months. This happened during the signing and handing over of the projects to local contractors by the Energy and Finance Ministries at the respective district council halls. Our energy correspondent, William Wise, has this report.
Electricity, one of the driving forces for human capital development, has not been visible in Bond and Pujon districts for ages and has prevented development from coming into these districts. These people here largely depend on solar lights and generators, which they say has little or no effect in their lives.
Because of the unavailability of electricity, people go early to bed, and we as bike riders cannot run in the township because of no light.
As I speak with you, because of excess spending on generator with less profits, I have given away my freezer. But the signing of electricity for this district after completion would end our suffering.
Project engineer James Rogers says the scope of the supply, installation and commissioning of A 11 kV sub-transmission and distribution network had various stages such as procurement, design and the completion.
Mid-January to end of February, you can see some poles, because some contractors went in for some locally produced poles, which are the concrete poles, which are produced in Sierra Leone, as preferred to the galvanized poles. Because the galvanized poles, it will take the lead time to deliver to Sierra Leone, it will take some time. But for the locally produced concrete poles, starting from January to the end of February, we'll be sending the poles to Cambia, Kabbalah, and Moyamba.
The significance of the district township electrification project is to provide quality electricity to everyone irrespective of region, tribe or political background, as promised by President Biya while seeking for the highest office, in the words of the Minister of Energy, Alhaji Kanja Sise.
What we have to do is to restore electricity is very important. And it starts with building the basic infrastructure, which is the transmission and distribution network, through which we transport the power to the beneficiaries, communities, households, industries, companies, name it, whoever uses electricity.
The area of monitoring is key for successful implementation of the project.
I have gone with the ministry, the district headquarters town. You understand? Reason being, I want to have a first-hand information, because when we come in to perform an oversight function, the minister will not be there, permanent secretary will not be following us. But if I have the first-hand information, I will share that with my membership. So when we come, what we have as evidence is what we will look for to ensure that quality job is being done for our people.
The signing for the district township electrification project began months ago in Kwenadugu, Cambia, Moyamba and Kalaun, and ends in Pujon, Bont Island and the mainland in the Matujon. This project is expected to provide jobs for hundreds of people, both old and young, in the districts. SLBC News Hour in Freetown, William Wise reporting.
Children in conflict with the law refers to anyone under the age of 18 that comes into contact with the justice system as a result of being suspected or accused of committing an offense. Most children in conflict with the law have been committed to the juvenile remand homes that are available. In the area of juvenile justice, Shalom Rescue Foundation aims to reduce incarceration whilst protecting children from violence, abuse, and exploitation. As a way of encouraging them, the foundation has fed dozens of juveniles at the King Tom Remand Home and consoled them to have hope and refrain from forms of violence. The Chief Executive Officer, Shalom Rescue Foundation, Eustacia Anderson, explained to SLBC's Ibrahim Samura why they targeted juveniles remanded at the King Tom Remand Home.
New Year's Day is a day of giving for me, and I noticed that most of the time we forget about the underage, the juvenile. So I choose to celebrate my New Year's Day with them because for me it's a day of giving, it's a day of making people happy, putting a smile on people's faces. I feel like there is hope for everyone. Among these kids, we might have presidents, we might have doctors, engineers, and we shouldn't choose what someone's future will look like. You never know.
And during your statement, you advised them for them to have hope, to have faith. You're just challenging them. Why?
Because for me, I like challenges. When you push me, I tend to do the more. So I will, at least one among them, somehow like challenges as well. So if you challenge someone to be better, I believe it will be better.
So for what you're looking forward from them from here?
I'm looking forward for them to getting released, living a better life, making changes, and just being a better person in society.
Well, Eustacia, the Chief Executive Officer of Shalom Rescue Foundation, was in conversation with Ibrahim Samura at King Tom Remand Home for Juveniles. New Year's Day was a day New Year's Day was not only a time for philanthropy, but it was also a homecoming and it was time for people to come to cemeteries and take care of their loved ones with the pouring of libations, the placement of flowers, food, coconuts, candles, and the like. Our intern Ayuman Saray visited the Ascension Town and King Tom cemeteries to find out more about this tradition.
The 1st of January is celebrated all over the world as the birth of the new year. On this day, in some parts of the world, especially in Sierra Leone, families visit the cemeteries such as Ascension Town and King Tom to pour libation, place flowers, food, kola nut, and candles on the graves of their loved ones, and also speak to them to show honor and reverence towards the dead. Honoring the dead has not only been seen by families as a tradition they must fulfill, but has also been seen as an essential part of ensuring the well-being of the family, tribe, and society. Mrs. Seya Johnson said this has been Sierra Leone's culture, especially for the Creoles, and that their parents have been doing it. Therefore, they will keep on doing it.
We Salon culture, we Creole culture.
This has been our culture since we were born, and we believe in life after death. The soul of our late father has gone, but we come to communicate with his remains every year, because we believe that by talking to him, he will guide us throughout the year, and we know he can hear us.
Yeah. Now the one way they take, this way turn up, we see so 100.
According to Mr. Dennis Johnson, this has been their family tradition, and they do not only do this on New Year's Day, but also on every Christian holiday.
Yeah, because this is his tradition, as I've met my family, not only the 1st of January, during Easter again, I'll be around to see that this is clean, painted, and make sure that everything is well fixed up. But it is really painful at times.
Mr. Dobell Jackson stated that they were born in this tradition, so that is why they too are doing the same every year.
When we born meet with granny and we do. So every year we can come and celebrate with them.
We were born in this tradition. That is why every year we come to celebrate with them, so that they will know we have not forgotten about them. We believe that they still lingers around.
Then we see we not forget them. Let them say we did what today. Let them say we not forget we.
It is often believed that the souls of the dead have a profound influence on the lives of the living, and veneration of them is seen as necessary for the survival of the family, tribe, and the community.
Which is the 1st of every year, is celebrated in many parts of the world with reference and honoring the deceased. As you can see, the traditional mood of the Day of the Dead is with much brighter emphasis on honoring the lives of the dead and celebrating the continuation of life. The belief is that the dead is not the end, but rather the beginning of a new stage in life. Reporting for SLBC, Ayuman Saray.
Thanks, Ayuman Saray. And following the installation of solar lights on King Herman Road, Jomo Kenyatta Road, Hilltop Road, among other key residences, the communities have expressed delight for the timely intervention. Our intern, Mohammed Kamar, has more.
The installation of solar lights in various communities in Freetown Municipality by EDSA and SLRA together with MediaTek is an attempt to achieve Goal 7 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which deals with affordable and clean energy. Solar lights in different communities signify progress and reduction of crime rates, especially in communities where armed robbery and lawlessness are the order of the day. Most times when such development takes place, residents of those communities are the ones who benefit most because it becomes a sigh of relief for them. Against that backdrop, residents at King Herman Road and Hillcourt Road told SLBC how delightful they were for installation of solar lights in their communities.
The installation of the solar light has helped us greatly because prior to now, stealing of property during the night was common, but now it is seldom.
Because like for past 3 years we do business.
These solar lights are indeed beneficial to us because for the past years that I've been selling, it was not easy for us to be here up to this time because of the fear of armed robbers.
They help a lot greatly. The solar light installation helped us greatly in this community as thieves used to hang around at night to steal our property. But now our community is secured.
At least you don't secure.
Many a time when such a project is undertaken, its sustainability is a challenge. Deputy Head of Operations Media Tech Limited, Mohamed Lamin Jallo, who is also head of those who are installing the solar lights, assured that the solar lights are of good quality and that they will last long.
These solar panels are very strong as a newly technology. These are EVs, not like those before. They come with batteries aside. These are EV solars. These are newly technology discovered, and we thought it fit to fix them because they can serve a very long period.
Since sustainable electricity has been a challenge in the country, EDSA has been making tremendous efforts to ensure that Sierra Leoneans are not deprived of their need of light. The reason these solar lights have been installed in different communities across Freetown is to ease the burden on citizens. SLBC News, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
As a way to put smiles on the faces of children, House of Rest Church of Christ International has donated food and other non-food items to 2 orphanages. The donation, which targeted over 200 children from 0 to 18 years in the Lumley community, was part of the church's annual activities to mark the end of the year. Mohamed Lamin Toure had more details on that.
The donation, which started at All As One Children's Center home that hosts 35 children from age 0 to 18 years in the Goddard community, is to mark the church's end of year fasting to build the spiritual life of members. The move came after 21 days of fasting and direction from God to feed the needy during the COVID-19 period. The 2 orphanages were targeted to ensure the children feel belong as a way to put smiles on their faces with food and non-food items.
Because Jesus himself cared for the needy. He does not turn them down. There was a time when they met him concerning the people. He said, give them something to eat. Don't allow them to go just like that so that they will not die on the way. And the Bible says he feed 5,000 people.
The Victory Teens Orphanage in the Lumley community that benefited from the gesture hosts 52 kids, and it was the first support.
It was a surprise for us to have the 2 bags of rice, a gallon of palm oil, and a gallon of oil, onion, and some amount of water. This was actually a surprise to us. Since the tedious time of this COVID-19, it hasn't been easy, and we are run out of stock. So for this food to come in, we just want to say thanks to God.
The donation by the church was inspired by the Holy Spirit to reach out to the suffering people with the bid to liberate them by bringing them to Jesus. For SLBC TV, Mohamed Lamin Toure reporting.
According to NACOVAC, effective 1st January, passports of all inbound passengers will be withheld at the Lunge International Airport by the Immigration Department until negative COVID-19 PCR results have been issued by NACOVAC. The new restrictions exclude diplomatic missions, consulates, UN agencies, and other international organizations accredited to Sierra Leone. In an interview with SLBC's Ibrahim Samura, the spokesman of NACOVAC, Solomon Jamiru, said the country has witnessed a volume of airline passengers, particularly in the past 3 weeks, some of whom have deliberately provided false information on health location forms.
So the first public notice has to do with the travel portal. You would recall, the general public would recall that with the resumption of commercial flights, we have made it a key requirement to register online on www.travel.gov.sl. That's the travel portal. So inbound passengers and departure passengers, anybody who is intending to travel out of Sierra Leone or into Sierra Leone should actually utilize the travel portal. So the travel portal essentially is the platform, and that platform will give you the necessary information and the necessary steps that you have to follow for both inbound and outbound passengers. So the next public notice, as you have said, has to do with inbound passengers. From the updates as at yesterday, a total of 55 inbound passengers have tested positive. And you would recall from the address of His Excellency the President on December 23, he also referred to COVID-19 in Sierra Leone, and that his government has taken proactive steps to ensure that we keep COVID-19 in check. But his statement also made a very salient observation, which we believe is very important within the context of public health and keeping our people safe. And he said that there are some inbound passengers who eventually tested positive, but they have not been forthright with the authorities in terms of what they provide in their health locator forms, and which makes it rather difficult or impossible for them to be tracked if eventually they turn out to be positive. And we believe that that is very inconsistent with our public health, but also the general situation when it comes to fighting COVID. And as a government, we have decided that it is important, once they land at the Lunga International Airport, that the immigration authorities will be in safe custody of their passports until their results, their negative results are produced. So that was the decision that was communicated in the address of His Excellency the President. He gave very clear directives on that, and we believe that we should give full meaning and effect to that directive. So effective 1st of January, inbound passengers, once they land at the Lunga International Airport, their passports will be withheld by the Immigration Department, and those passports will be delivered to the rightful holders.
So, Mr. Spokesman, the issue of security comes in. How will you ensure that these passports were well secured to ensure that there will be no missing of passports at the end, maybe after the 3 days period, which you mentioned in the press release? Security is a concern.
The safety and preservation of the integrity of those passports are very important. So in the several discussions, both at the level of the Presidential Task Force and also at the level of NACOVAC, that was one of the issues that we looked at. And so we believe that the Immigration Department has the necessary conditions to ensure the safety and the integrity of those passports. As a matter of fact, the Immigration Department has been in custody of thousands of passports. This is not the first time, so it's not something that they needed to do some kind of a simulation exercise for us to be sure that these people have the capacity to do it. We have sufficient precedents that they have been doing this, and in very large volumes, and so this is not something that would become a problem for the immigration authority. So we have that firm guarantee and assurance on the part of immigration, and NACOVAC stands ready and willing to provide them every reasonable assistance.
So is this this kind of restrictions, it is cut across, or there are certain people which passports should be withheld upon arrival?
So again, just to remind the general public that the whole thinking about withholding passports actually emanated from the fact of the provision of false information on the health locator forms, which makes it rather difficult for surveillance to bring those people within their radar. So there are certain exemptions within our bilateral and multilateral relationships. but also within the provisions of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, 1961 and 1963 respectively. There are certain immunities, there are certain privileges that the diplomatic and consular community are entitled to. So we have clearly in the policy and also as captured in the public notice, we have clearly exempted the diplomatic mission and consulates, United Nations agencies and other international organizations that have host country agreements with the government of Sierra Leone. Of course, for those ones looking at that spectrum, quite apart from the fact that these are foreign diplomats accredited to Sierra Leone, we also believe that there should be no question about verifiable results. These institutions are well known, their officials are well known, so we have clearly made provision for that category for exemptions. And this comes into force, as you rightly know, by tomorrow. And so let's see in the coming days and weeks how events unfold. But in terms of the safety and preservation of the integrity of the passports, and also for us, this action we believe should be able to assist us to keep COVID-19 in check. 55 inbound passengers positive, and as you know, Samura, we've had several reports of the variant coronavirus in some parts of the world. We don't have evidence yet that the variant coronavirus, the new strain of the virus, is in Sierra Leone, but 55 inbound passengers have tested positive. It means we have to be extremely careful and we have to be deeply concerned. So this is just part of series of measures that have been put in place. And as a government and as NACOVAC, we have the responsibility to take such measures deemed appropriate under any given circumstance. And we believe that given the current context of infections and in a bid to keep COVID-19 in check, it is important that we take this important action.
Commissioner Francis Ben Kelfala has presented a recovery check of 8 billion leones to the President at State House. While presenting the check, President Julius Maada Bio said the ACC boss had his commission's full respect and has not only been fighting for the people involved with fighting against the people involved in corruption, but also has been returning monies to the government. How Masiri reports.
I therefore hereby present this check to you on behalf of the people.
As part of his institution's commitments, they have been accumulating resources they collect as a way of giving back to the country what the office has recovered in the fight against corruption. A check of 8 billion leones recovered in 2020 has been presented to President Julius Maada Bio at State House. Presenting the check, Commissioner Ben Kelfala informed the President that his office has been working assiduously to recover corrupt monies and assured him of his office's relentless commitment in the fight against corruption.
In Africa, no country is doing it as we are doing, particularly when it comes to asset recovery. And therefore, we could not do so without the support of the President and his team and the cooperation of the people of Sierra Leone. Therefore, Your Excellency, today as part of that commitment, we have been accumulating the resources as we collect them, and it is traditional under your presidency for us to do a presentation to you at the end of the year as a way of giving to the people what we have recovered on their behalf in the fight against corruption. Your Excellency can recall that on 2 previous occasions we provided checks of 7.5 billion, on another occasion 7.5 billion. Today, at the end of 2020, we are providing another check of 8 billion euros.
In his response, President Julius Maada Bio thanked the ACC Commissioner and team for their effort and commitment in the fight against corruption. President Bio noted that the fight against corruption is a tedious one, in such that corruption always fights back. He encouraged them to continue the good fight for the benefits of the nation, as the country had made tremendous progress which many countries have not achieved. President Bio assured that proceeds of all corrupt monies in the country will be directed towards the construction of a modernized diagnostic hospital, which he said is very necessary for the development of the health of citizens and the human capital development.
I want to say a big thank you again as you present this step of 8 billion leones. And I want to assure you that, like I've stated before, we are going to put all of this together to provide a diagnostic medical facility for this country. We make sure that there is an edifice to which you can say we played our part in retrieving stolen monies, and it is in this building, and it is providing service for humanity.
SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hamosue reporting.
Continue with some of the African news. And Italy has condemned Egypt's decision to rule out charging 5 state security officers over the torture and murder of an Italian student near Cairo. Earlier this year, Italian prosecutors named 4 suspects believed to be behind the death of Giulio Regeni. But this week, Egypt's public prosecutors said there was insufficient evidence against the group. Mr. Regeni, a Cambridge University student, had been researching independent trade unions, a sensitive issue in Egypt. African Union and United Nations peacekeepers in Sudan's Darfur region are carrying out their final patrols in the 13-year mission, which officially comes to an end. Following a peace deal with rebel groups in October, the Sudanese government is to take over security in the region where hundreds of thousands have died since the conflict broke out in 2003. About 500,000 people still live in displacement camps in Darfur. Attacks on the region are still common, and many civilians are concerned about the imminent pullout of the peacekeepers. Well, we now bring you the main points to wrap up News Hour. A Senegalese Women's Association in Sierra Leone has presented gifts to first newborns of 2021. It was done as encouragement to pregnant women to be giving birth in hospitals and also to assist mothers of babies born in the new year. President Bio has pardoned former Defense Minister Alfred Palo Conte and 246 other inmates nationwide. Acting Deputy Director General of the Sierra Leone Correctional Service said the inmates met all the criteria by the committee chaired by the Vice President to review their case files. And following the installation of solar lights on King Harman Road, Jomo Kenyatta Road, Hillcut Road and other key areas, residents in the said communities have expressed delight for the timely initiative. Thank you for watching News Hour. Stay tuned, stay safe, and have a pleasant weekend. I'm Harold Williams. Bye-bye.